And for you guys that are juice monkeys, you're going to think 1 cc of test and 1 cc of EQ isn't shit. Well, you're right. But I can still bench press 500 on 1 cc of test and 1 cc of EQ a week. And I've been trying to explain to Lenny for probably 3 years now. It's not how big you are on your blast cycle. It's how big you are on your cruise cycle that's going to determine your ultimate potential. Because if you're cruising on a low amount of gear and you're strong, well, you know what you can do when you blast. So, and I think that's key. I'm doing 400 milligrams of a test blend, something similar to a Cessnonaut 250, except what I have is it's overdosed. It's a T400 blend, and I'm doing 1 cc of test a week, and I'm doing 1 cc of Equipoise 300 a week, and I'm strong as fuck. And I firmly believe in that theory. Cruising and staying as strong as you can and as big as you can. Because I think that old school theory of going off and getting your receptors open and all that nonsense is bullshit. Guys that go off because they think they're going to open up their receptors for their next cycle, well, they shrink. They turn into the next Dale Chance. You don't want to shrink. You never want to go off test. And I never go off EQ. Because EQ is so safe and it's so cheap. So I'm cruising right now on 400 test, 300 EQ. And a lot of you clowns are going to be like, well, that's not a cruise cycle, Jay. You're doing 700 milligrams a week. Well, asshole, I'm 340 fucking pounds and I bench press 500 or more. So for me, 700 a week is cruise. If anyone's got a problem with that, you know what? Go find another guru. You know, go pay someone $3 grand to put you on a fucking meal plan that's going to tell you, well, you need to go off. You need your receptors cleaned out. You know why these meal coaches that you're paying money to want you to go off the juice to clean out your receptors? So that you shrink and get small so that you think you need them. It's a fucking game. Now, I'm a firm proponent of the blast and cruise. So, and most people are just going to cruise, on maybe 200 milligrams of test a week. That's fine. But you're not my size. You might be, 195 on stage. I would probably be 240 on stage, ripped. So, a guy like me who's carrying around 240 pounds of lean mass, and I'm 100 pounds overweight, I'm 340. I can't cruise on 200. I need more to maintain that. And that's my philosophy, is cruising and keeping what you got until you have a contest and a date on the calendar. Then you blast. And when it comes to blasting, I think that the first 21 days of your blast, you really need to kill it with orals, because if you up your doses of the injectables, they're not going to be in your system for 3 weeks. I was watching some videos of some fool that said you need to front load Equipoise, And he was talking about doing 3 cc's of equipoise your first week. And to me, that just doesn't make sense. If you got a 10 cc vial of equipoise, why would you waste 3 cc's in that first week? I'd rather just do 1 cc that first week and kickstart my cycle with orals. And then at the end of my cycle, I got those extra 2 cc's of EQ to do after I get off the orals. So you blast, cruise, and you always kickstart your blast with orals. The first 21 days of your blast, you should do as much orals as your body will tolerate. For most people, that's about 200 milligrams. And some guys can do more, some guys can't. But if you do 200 milligrams of anadrol, D-ball, or I prefer turinabol, but if you do 200 milligrams of orals your first 3 weeks, by the end of that 3rd week, man, you want nothing to do with those orals. You don't feel good. Because 200 is a lot. Most of you are going to feel better on 100. You take an anadrol in the morning and an anadrol at night, that's 100 milligrams. That's a fucking lot. You do that for 21 fucking days, and then get off it. Get off those fucking orals. Because by day 21, your injectables have kicked in. I don't care what you're cycling with, if it's Tren, Equipoise, or Deca. By the 3rd week, your injectables are at their better levels, so you don't need the oral. You're just hurting yourself by staying on the orals. Back in the old days, we used to do orals for 6 weeks. I don't believe in that anymore. I think that's just abusing the body. Because by week 3, if you're doing EQ or DECA or a Tren and Enthenate, you're going to start, those drugs are going to start working. So you don't need the oral anymore. So why continue to hurt your fucking body? That's why I don't like, when people ask me about cycles that are just like a Tren or a test and D-ball or test and draw cycle. Test and an oral, I don't think is a good cycle. If you're going to do a cycle, number 1, you do test. If you have the extra money, you add an anabolic injectable. If you have more money than that, you put a kicker, an oral in the beginning. So, if you're strapped for cash, you don't do test and an oral. No. An oral is a luxury item. If you have the extra money, you do test and an injectable anabolic. If you have the money, yeah, you do a kicker with an oral. But test and D-ball or test and draw, no. All you're going to do is add water weight, gain a bunch of strength, and then when you go off the oral, you're just going to feel like shit. And depression, and all sorts of bad side effects. So, if you do a test and an injectable anabolic, by the time, if you do a 21-day blast with the orals, by week 3, when you get off those fucking orals, when you're feeling like shit, your EQ or your trend or your DECA has kicked in. And when you go off the orals, you're not going to lose strength.